Have you ever interacted with a brand where everything just felt right? Like the product made sense, the messaging made sense, the experience matched what you expected, and you trusted it without you trusted it without really knowing why. And then you've probably had the opposite too. A brand that looks great on the surface, we're talking good marketing, clear positioning, maybe even a great product. But the second you actually interact with it, something feels off. I've seen both sides of this clearly, really clearly. I have a buddy, for example, a big boat guy, and he had an experience with Mastercraft. His boat breaks down out in the middle of the lake. No, it wasn't even on a warranty. He was just stuck out there. So he calls the dealership, and instead of saying, bring it in, they tell him, hang tight. Within an hour, they show up with a replacement boat. They tow him in, move his whole family and all his stuff onto the new boat, and they let them keep like enjoying the day while they take his boat back and fix it. And he never even has to deal with it. That is insane service. But more importantly, that moment made him feel something. He felt taken care of. He felt prioritized. And from that moment on, he was absolutely locked in. It didn't matter what any other boat company did. That was his brand. Now flip that. There's a gun store near me that on the surface looks great. They got great marketing. They have a pretty clear positioning. And they seem like they have everything going on for them. But the second you walk in there, the staff talks down to you. They act like they know everything, and it's so annoying. There's no room for conversation or other people's opinions. You just feel like an idiot in there. It's not a good feeling. And they have multiple locations, and it's not just that one location either. It's all of them. So now, every time that brand comes up, everyone I talk to has the same reaction. Yeah, those guys are jerks. And that's the key. In both of these situations, there was a moment where a feeling happened. And that moment locked the brand in. For better or worse. Because people don't experience brands logically. They experience them emotionally. And once that emotional association is made, it is very hard to undo. That's why people struggle to explain why a brand feels right. They don't want to admit it was a feeling. No. They want to say they did their research and they figured it out logically. But in reality, they felt something and then justified it afterwards. So, what actually creates that feeling? Well, it's alignment. When what you say matches what you do, when your messaging matches your product, when your product matches the experience, and when your experience matches your promise. And every time that happens, you build trust. But the second something breaks, you create friction. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be a bad customer service. It could be a frustrating checkout. Like it's super difficult to get the deed done, to give someone your money. It's really annoying. Or a product that doesn't deliver. Those are all weak links in the chain. And it doesn't matter how strong everything else is. That one break, it creates doubt. And doubt kills trust. So, and there's another layer to this that's just as important. Before someone ever interacts with your brand, they have to feel like it's for them. This is where your vibe comes in. Your marketing and your content, your tone, it has to match your customer. You have to understand them deeply enough to reflect that back to them. Because when someone feels seen, they feel connected. And that's what pulls them in. Before they ever buy anything. Then, once they're in, you have to deliver on that promise. That's how the full experience works. There's the pre-contact feeling, and then there's the actual interaction. Both have to align. And this is where authenticity comes in. Authenticity isn't just a buzzword. It's the ability to say who you are, understand your customer, and actually follow through on it. Because if you fake it, people feel that too. So for me, the biggest shift in thinking was this. Stop focusing on how do we go viral? Or how do we run better ads? How do we just do more? And start focusing on, are we aligned? Do we actually deliver what we say? Do we understand our customer well enough to make them feel seen? Because if you get that right, everything else becomes so much easier. So if there's one thing brands should stop doing things without understanding why you're doing them. So stop constantly changing direction. Stop chasing trends. Stop cutting corners in the customer experience to save a buck. Because all of that creates friction. And friction is what makes a brand feel off. So, if there's one belief I would challenge, it's this. Branding is way more important than you think. And as much work as it takes to get it right, it actually removes work later. Because when your brand is aligned, everything starts to click. And that is when a brand finally feels right. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you'll give me a subscribe. Share your thoughts in the comment section. Either way, thanks for being here. And I'll see you on the next one.